Sunday. Oh my God, I just realized I didn't clean out my laundry baskets. So you guys know what I did today. Let me hide that so that you guys don't see that. See that? Let's do let's do that. Cool. So I'm in the mountains. So I'm hiding the evidence. Hello, Mr. Fox. You were number 1. Hello, Tracy. Yes, 13 months. Happy membership birthday. 13 months. So, how do you like my background? So I have Tracy here and Mr. Fox. Good thing Annie's wearing a sweater since she's now... Yes! So I'm all like, wait. Let's do this right. I should put a fan here and in the microphone. So I was hesitant to come on tonight. I am like brain dead, but I wanted to chit chat with some of you. I know that the sun is up and people are starting to go out and like eat outside, have like bigger social life. So I know Sundays is 7:30 is not ideal, but since I go live also Tuesday morning, I'm trying to catch as much as people as I can. But I can also do this. Okay, so which one's better? So the mountain or, ew, this is fun, my house. Ooh, this is a clean house. Like, there's no toys behind me. The windows are spick and span clean. Wow, that's definitely not my house. As long as the toes are free to toes. I didn't do the video yet. I was told to do a short video about free the toes and tag Jack from Ren's Homestead, and I didn't do it yet. I'm with you on the brain dead part. I'm worn out from all the landscaping I'm doing on my property, tree removal and gardening update. Oh, well, you know, it's a good thing. You're going to sleep very good tonight. I've worked somewhat a little bit outside. I broad fork and weeded a lot of beds. I'm preparing them for transplanting soon. Should be getting compost soon, I hope, maybe this week or next week. And then starting transplanting some of my stuff. I'm having a hard time this year. My seedlings are not all that pretty. So it does show that I'm not on top of things. I am so used to taking out my seedlings almost daily and like analyzing everything, and almost every day I go over the list of things I need to sow. This year I'm like a little more relaxed, trying to enjoy a little bit more of my time. And it gives me time to do self-care. I'm actually following a course next week, which will probably, I think I'll have to do studying for a little, maybe over a month. And then I'll have some exams, but I still have to revise to get to that. So I've been studying a lot, decluttering. I took out my fall winter clothes and I flipped for my spring clothes, although cold is back. So tomorrow morning it's going to be -7 with the windshield. I have a little one downstairs. So although I took out all of that spring clothes, summer clothes, I think I'm going to have to take out some of the winter clothes out back. Tomorrow, -7 with the windshield. Free of the toes with beans and rice and nacho cheese. Num, 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 num. I don't think those two mix. Like the toes, the cheese, the bean, the rice. I'm not sure. I'm not sure about that one. Oh, Fritos! Oh, my bad, my bad. That was my French brain. Because I do think in French first, and then I translate. So if you guys missed it on Tuesday, I sowed carrots live, and I was asking questions about I cannot for the life of me grow carrots, and I just had like I think an hour and a half, an hour 45 minutes. I chit chatted with everyone, but the reasoning behind the live is I needed some tips and tricks to actually get some carrots. I didn't get that, so if you missed Tuesday's live, maybe listen like the first 15 minutes, and if you have tips for me, you can go and give some to me because I'm trying this year. I think I have 2 or 4 rows of carrots in the spring. And last year I tried the cornstarch method. It did great, but I had a drought and I wasn't allowed to water, so I had to let go of like 8 rows of carrots. I was like so looking forward to gardening carrots. It's always fun to have that, but didn't happen. And then this year, I am trying the cornstarch method, but I'm also trying with little mini soil blockers. Soil blockers are like little 3/4 cube. I sowed 2 seeds per. I'm going to let them germinate, and then I'm going to transplant them probably like the week after the conference, which is probably going to be like the first week of May. And then on Friday, I made sorry, not Friday. So I can't remember which day. So I think it was Wednesday or Thursday. I made a post about publishing date change. So I have now added a layer of membership. So there is the 99 cents. And then now I added the $2.99, which will give early access content to those members. So I am now publishing my videos for that level on Thursdays, and then, or earlier if it's ready earlier, but my content for everyone will be available for Friday. So I am switching up things. I tried this week and it seems to have worked. I didn't do anything different, and it seems that YouTube picked it up. It's been a very, very, very long time that YouTube hasn't picked up one of my videos. I don't know if it was the content, the hashtag, or like all of that. They picked it up and they pushed it. They're still pushing it. So I am changing that. So Friday, 3 p.m. Eastern. The Tuesday morning live are going to be like last minute decisions, because I can no longer do 2 videos a week. It is way too much and I don't want to burn myself out. So until like I'm recuperated from my burnout from last year, I want to maintain 1 video a week. And I don't mind going live on Tuesday morning if it's only 10 minutes, 20 minutes, an hour. I had so much fun on Tuesday chit-chatting with everyone, and I sowed some carrots. I was multitasking. So my soil is very loose. I use a broad fork. and I amended a lot of my soil. So there's a lot of compost. The only thing I have not tried is adding vermiculite or perlite to my beds, or potting mix, or coconut coir. I haven't done that. Carrot loved potting mix works wonders. If you already have loose, rich soil, then just hand rake about 1 foot down and plant seed. The planting is fine. It's harvesting. I have like little puny tiny carrots. I have nothing. So the sowing is good. The cornstarch was fantastic. It worked amazing. But because of the drought, I wasn't allowed to water, and I didn't put my collecting watering system was not there. So I wasn't able to collect rainwater. So therefore, I had to choose which plant would survive. And I chose to sacrifice my 8 rows of carrots and take care of the most important crop, which was peppers, tomatoes, and eggplants and all of that. The flowers, the medicinal plants. And this year, we just took out the rain collector device and we're placing it so that I don't get caught again. Hi, Karen. How's your dog? How's Buster doing? Hello, LP. Watering indoor plants. I just did that this week. Okay, so I broad fork my row. I weed my row. I add compost every year to my row. I broad fork again. And then use a rake and place it like, I'm not a professional, but I'm trying it to be as market garden style, leveled and all cute and cuddly as much as I can. And then I make my 30 inches wide rows. I do 4 rows, and the middle row usually is either leeks or green onions. And they germinate pretty well. And then usually with the cornstarch, I don't have to thin that much. When I did not use the cornstarch, I would like maybe give like 2 inches of space. But I was never able to have those big carrots. It's always like small puny ones. And I would fertilize maybe once more. I think it was once more at least. I think it's the carrots that you're not supposed to fertilize that much. Yay! I'm so happy for you. That's great news. So, Karen, I'm just going to repeat because I had 2 people on. Now I have 6. So, I am changing up my publishing schedule. So for my member only early content is going to be on Thursdays whenever it is ready uploaded. It could be earlier if you're in that membership. If not, I'm going to go to Friday, 3 p.m. The Sunday live, I'm going to keep it at 7:30 until I see that I still have people coming, because I know that not everyone on Sunday night will want to stay in, because it's going to be like fire time and like cuddling outside and enjoying as much as the sun as possible. So I don't know about Sunday, but Tuesday morning lives will be like last minute decisions. I might do that. I'm going to write this down. So, where is my sewing? Okay, I don't have my sewing calendar with me, but I'm going to write it in my agenda. So potting soil. I'm going to do that. Where's my highlighter? I don't have Pro Mix here. I have Berger, which is very similar, but it's seed starting mix. Potting mix is a bit different. So I might go to the nursery or Rona next door to go buy a couple of bags of that. And add potting soil. I'm going to try that. I'm not giving up on carrots because I do have heavy clay soil and I cannot put it in my raised bed gardens because that would have been the solution. Because my raised bed and there's music. Hold on, let me deactivate the mic. I'm going to turn off the music so I don't get flagged. I hope you guys were not able to hear that music. I lost track of this. Okay, so yeah. So my raised beds are hugelkultur style. So I just accumulate everything I have around the property, old wood, leaves, when I empty out the chicken coop, I put that on the bottom, and then I put like a layer of mulch, and then I add my compost. There's years that I added 50% compost, 50% black soil. There's year that I added 100% compost. So I adapt from year to year. But my grow bags, I do a mix of potting, mix soil, compost, and I can't remember what's the other one. There's 3. Sometimes I add vermiculite when I have it, perlite, coconut coir. And I kind of do hugelkultur style also in my grow bags, but not pieces of wood. So if I have wood chips, I'm going to put that in the bottom. Carrot took me personally 2 years before I figure out how to get them going really well. I now sow them in my raised bed that I started with the hugelkultur method. So my raised beds, sadly, are the best friend of my neighbor's cats. So he uses my raised beds. Well, this year he hasn't done it yet because we're playing a lot with it. So I'm moving things around, so he probably lost everything. But the years prior, he would use it as his litter box. So if I want fresh eating carrots, I cannot sow them there. So since my in-ground garden is fenced in, well, technically, if he wants to go, he's going to go. But at least there's less chances, and I'll be able to eat raw carrots. I don't want to eat a carrot filled with cat piss. So it would have been the best place to put my carrots. But since this year there is one raised bed that we are not able to recreate, so I calculated that my raised bed would be 36 inches from within, 36 inches of space between rows. And one of the raised bed we started calculating, I'm offset from I think 10 inch. So it doesn't work. So I can't rebuild that one. So instead of we're too early in the season to start unassembling one we did not plan to unassemble, I just bought 10 grow bags, the 30-gallon ones. And I might try, if I have some leftovers, I might try to grow my carrots in those, in a loomy soil. I might one day be able to grow my carrots. That bed has long since biodegraded everything. So I'm unassembling my raised beds that I created 3-4 years ago, hugelkultur style. And the only thing that has remained from that assembly is the big wood. So I had 1 inch, 2 inch, 3 inch, 4 inch pieces of wood. So when I was digging them out, most of them were falling apart, crumbling. So if I had my wood chipper working, I could have chipped it and then put it back in the new raised beds that I'm creating or the grow bags, but my chipper's broken. I have to fix it. Another thing that needs to be fixed this year. Hi, Remy. How are you? Cat deterrent for raised beds equals soil they will not use as a toilet, or other options are lattice panels to cover. I have a lot of raised beds. So I bought a deer fence that's 7 feet tall. If I'm seeing if I'm seeing the cat again this year using, at this point he has not used them because I see usually he digs and I catch him a couple of times. But like I've been moving things around and there's rabbit poop on most of them. So every 4 days I empty out my rabbit hutch and I just put the rabbit poop. So I don't know, since maybe the rabbit poop has a bit of urine in it, maybe he's getting the message that it's not his territory or her territory. I think they're males. So I'm not seeing him. There's 3 cats now. There's a black cat, there's a ginger cat, and there's a black and white. So the black cat, I was told that he's very mean by one of my neighbors. So I'm trying like to put rabbit poop everywhere so that he doesn't come. But the ginger cat was the one that got caught in my tunnel last year. And this year I haven't seen it. The black and white one is the one that uses my raised beds as litter, and I haven't seen it. But, I'm not always looking. But I have like 7 or 8 raised beds that are 16 feet long. At the moment, some of them are 36 inches wide. Some of them are 48 inches wide. So I think I'm just going to put that deer fence that I bought last year with a couple of posts and like DIY, like a weird door, so that the cat doesn't go there. I feel you. I'm extremely tired too. Wet soil. That's why they're not there, because it's been raining a lot. Or maybe the rain and the rabbit poop, they don't like the smell. Well, I've been trying to work on this. I'm trying. It's very hard. So I'm trying to do like meditations before I go to bed, or read a book or audiobook, or like do something my mind can get like super exhausted, and then when I go to bed, I just fall asleep. And so the playground rotted, and we relocated it in Luna, my dog's pen, so that we can swing when Luna's in her pen. But we tried to save as much as we could from that playground, that play structure, whatever you want to call it. And now just the swing set. But now I don't think that thing survived the winter. So now we need to modify it in order to use it. And I don't know if my kids are still going to play with the swing set. So maybe I'm just going to sell the swings and like burn the wood. So that is out. I have right now 8 grow bags that are there, that they're like new spots that I did not draw on my plan. So I might have space for other stuff, but I did not put down the tree that's there. So it does do some shade during the summer. And I did promise the kids, I don't know how to call that in English, climbing wall. Does that make any sense? L'escalade, climbing wall. So I promised them like a climbing wall so that they can go onto there's like this tree house on that tree that was attached to the playground structure thing. And I wanted to remove the platform and create like this wall with a cushion, wall climbing, and instead of like going upstairs, to have that. And I wanted to, we kept the, not the swing, we kept the, you slide on it. I don't know if, like, I think it's called the slide. So I was like thinking maybe creating a slide, a lower structure, and then from that platform onto the, another thing that they have in the backyard. But I don't think that's going to reach the to-do list this year. So we unassemble that playground structure, remove everything that was rotten, and now they need at least stairs or something to climb on top so that they can reach the platform. Yeah, you still have snow where you are. Move to the SA, come down here to New Mexico. You enjoy the 9 months growing season. I coach my two youngest. They play a sport I know nothing about and have to learn and teach. Ooh, this is fun. Climbing wall. Okay. Ew. You must be exhausted, like mentally, physically, and drained. And tomorrow's Monday. Ugh. Ugh. Tomorrow Monday's going to be hectic for you. So, yeah, I'm hoping to do like, I'm looking on Amazon. I saw that they had wall climbing little plastic things. And I want to somewhat have something for them so that they can go in that little tree house safely. And there's something in me that wants to change up a little bit the, I don't know, it's not like that, but like toys of the kids. I want them to stimulate their brains. I want them to stimulate their muscles and like be exhausted mentally, physically, like drained. And I find wall climbing is something you need to concentrate. You need to analyze. And you're exercising because you're like, if I do climbing, I'm going to discover muscles that I haven't, like, didn't even know that I had. So the kids, they are very, very active, but I'm sure if they start climbing, they're going to discover that their fingers are going to get like sore from carrying their weight. I'm sorry. Sorry. Yeah, it's at like overall, it stimulates every single part of you. It's a challenge on so many levels. And another thing I find it does is that for you to succeed, well, you have two choices. You either let yourself fall down, never get back up, and like just decide wall climbing is not for you, or you practice and practice and practice and practice. And it's not going to be like 10 feet tall, that's for sure. Because I won't be physically there all the time. So we're going to put like protective stuff on the ground, but they're not going to go like 10 feet tall, like maybe 4 feet, 5 feet top, so that if they do fall, they're going to be protected. Their bums are going to be protected, their backs, their arms, their legs. And Fred used to do that. So I need to ask him what is the height that is considered safe. And I want to teach them that, like thinking, organizing their thoughts, their emotions, in patience. Does anyone sell patience for kids? I'm like in the market for that. They don't have patience at all. Does anyone know how many days there is to the conference? Has anyone? Well, I think there's Remy here. What is that? What is that? I don't know. I'm still trying to figure that out. So I keep telling them, just give me a second. I'm in the middle of something. They want it now. Let them drop out of the sky. Most of us here grew up. Yeah. True, true, true. But they do invite friends, and then therefore I'm liable. And I wouldn't want them to break a rib. I sprained a couple of ribs when I was young. Um, the top part here. So I think the three first ribs, they were so swollen, I had trouble breathing. Um, I couldn't move my arms. Like everything here was hurt. I was in so much pain. And I sprained one also when I had bronchitis. That's that hurts. Like you can't even, like, you breathe in and you breathe out and you're like, oh man, I'm dying. And it was just brain. So broke. No, 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 no. If I can, like, a shoulder, a wrist, a femur, an ankle, if I can spare them from that pain, I will. But I do believe they need to fall a little bit on their bum so that they can have a backbone someday. Monkeys are landing flat on their back. Yeah, true, true, true. I don't know if anyone here is old as me, but do you remember when we used to go to a playground and the swing set was in metal? And like in July, the trick was to go down the slide in our shorts with our legs tight to our chest so that we don't burn our skin going down the slides. Has anyone had to go through that when they were young? Okay, so you're my age ish. I There was like one slide in particular, it was like super long, and every year one of us would get burned on it because like we would either not think and put our hands on it, and it was like bright sun on it all day long. And there's another one, it doesn't exist anymore. They've modified it. It's like that thing that goes around and you just, someone turn and you just hang on it. And it was the first one that would like fall off. Yeah, the metal slides. No seat. Well, I had seat belts. I don't know about my sisters. My sisters are 10 years older than me, but I know my parents did not have seat belts all the time. Yeah, it was ass toaster slides. Yes. Yeah, it is like garden hose. We would drink out of garden hose because we did not want to go inside. Because if we went inside, our moms or dads might ask us to do something. I did not want to go back inside the house. Or we would try to find a park that had water so that we can drink water if we were not close from a house. Yes, merry-go-round. Last summer, I went to one park and they modified that thing, and it was cool. So I brought my kids on it and I was turning them around, and they made seats from it. So you would sit. So some was standing, some would sit, and you would turn, and the fastest person, well, the faster I went, the kids were like, we're falling off. It just reminded me so much of my childhood. Maybe, probably. I think it's more than that, but it's probably one of the stuff. Like the food was different, the water was different, the air was different, the stress level was different. Um, I speak to kids, not teens, kids. Okay, so teens is like 12 and over, right? For you guys? So I speak to 12 and under. And they are so stressed. Their anxiety level of kids that I talk to, because like the parents are invited to schools now, and sometimes I sit in class and I just look at the kids, I observe the kids, and I have that moment where, as a mom, I look at other moms interact with their kids and pay attention to small details. And I look at the kids, and some of them talk to me because their parents are not there, or the grandparents are not there, they weren't able to come. I sense so much anxiety in those kids, so much stress, so much worry, so much negative emotions, and they're not even teens yet. So I was like, oh my God. They're always living. Well, I was like that when I was young. I'm trying to break that cycle. They're always talking about what's next. Always like, tomorrow we're going to do that. Then I like always in the future, or always talking about yesterday. They rarely talk about today. And I had an exercise this week with my kids. Every single day, we would sit at the kitchen table 5 days a week. I would ask my kids, what did you do at school today? Yes, it's in the past, but it's the present day. And like, I make sure that they speak of their day, their focal point of the day, their favorite moment of the day. And what is like, sometimes when I see that one of my kids are having like a hard time during the day, I flip it and I say, okay, so what was the hardest moment of your day? And do you think you could have done something different? Or I'm trying to flip it into a learning curve. And I actually learned this in one of my courses that I'm doing right now, that everyone's either looking in the past or looking in the future. They're never really present now. And I talk to teens also. My niece is 16. She is stressed out. She's a ticking BOMB, stress, anxiety. So I can only imagine when they have responsibilities. Like, there's months during the year that I don't even know how I hold myself together, because there's so much I need to do. There's the stress of being a wife, the family, the kids. The kids are having a hard time at school. The principals is calling me. The teacher's calling me. There's like months that like I'm holding the entire weight of the world on my shoulders, and I'm struggling. And I'm taking long hours during a day to make sure that my mental health is on check, on point, which I still have a lot to do. But I can only imagine the next generation, stressed as they are as kids, what is it going to turn when they get older? I try not to think too much of it, because that's in the future, but it just, as a mom, it just makes you think. So I'm trying to focus with my kids every single day to keep them in the present moment. Tomorrow is tomorrow. We're now. There's days that they look at me like this. Mom, you're so annoying. It's hard to be a kid these days. Yeah. I am so happy that social media did not exist when I was a child. I was bullied as a kid. And I was in a private school. And I was bullied up till my graduation. So bullies usually start like 3rd grade, 4th grade. I was different. I was a tomboy. I was not really princessy. I was naive. And I transitioned into being a woman. I had curves. I had severe cases of cold sore on a regular basis, and it deformed part of my lips. And they were so mean to me. So I had a safe place when I came back home. So I would cry all the way to school. I would cry in the bathroom at school. I would come back home, but as soon as I closed the door, I was safe. So my mom would hold me and she would give me love that I needed, in the security that I needed. But if I had social media when I was young, oh my God, it would have been horrible. Like being bullied these day and age, you have no time off. There's no safe space. They find you everywhere and they publish stuff and they have fun publishing it. I fully believe the reason kids are so stressed out and just out of sort is, in my opinion, because of the widespread access. Yeah, I have I have one of my children that says, "Oh, I saw this on the internet. It's true." I'm like, "Where did you see it? Like, did you Google it? Or did you go on like certain social media platforms?" And most of the time it's always social media platforms. I'm like, "Look, I admire that you are curious, and I admire that you took the time to learn about a subject, because I don't want him to find that I'm not happy that he does that. But what I don't like is that everything he sees, he believes." So that's like 2 out of my three children are at that point. I need to teach them to follow certain rules. Does it feel right? Yes, they are young, so they will need to learn. But does it feel right? What are you reading? What you're seeing? Does it feel right? What the person is saying to you, does it feel off? Like trusting their instinct. So I need to teach them that. Because sometimes I read stuff online and I'm like, right. Okay, next. And sometimes I like search on it, and some of it, like the first line you see is like, "This is a scam, da da da." So I'm like, okay, so I've made a very, very educated choice when I realized I was in a burnout. There's certain subjects that I refuse to go on social media, certain platforms that as soon as I see it, I like, oh no, don't want to see it, because it triggers stuffs inside of me, and I doom scroll for like hours, and then I realize I've lost hours, and I'm like, oh, I shouldn't have done that. They're pretty much all information on social media with grain of salt. Majority of it is just green screen. Yeah. Like I see little kids, same age as my kids, with like vaping machines and sexualizing everything, and it worries me. So I'm trying to break the cycle and educate my kids differently. So I rather them be different than society, so that when they grow up, they can make educated choices that feels right for them. But it is going to be a very, very hard challenge to do that, because the social media is everywhere. Everywhere. Like in school, they permit when you're finished your homework and all of that, you have access to a computer to the school, and they can play a game called Minecraft, something like that. And sometimes they come back home, they ask for the same thing, and it starts like that. They're on at school, they have some limitations, they can't go everywhere that they want, but at home, that's something that we want to change. We checked in like parental control apps, one of our friends told us about, and we might establish that here, so that we at least know, like there's certain things that we don't want them to have access to. So if they make a search to have a game or a specific website, it's going to like send us a link to our phone saying this device is asking requests to access blah blah blah. So we're looking into that, so that some of it, we can save some of it. Short doom and gloom. But I'm going to absolutely have myself a massive laugh when the internet goes under and the 2000 generation kids lose access to internet. There was a day this year that Meta, I think it's Meta. I think it was like Facebook, Instagram, and something else crashed for an entire day. I was bummed because like I couldn't talk to my friends because like I don't have my neighbor. I have a couple of neighbors nearby that I talk to, but my homesteaders friends are all over the world, so I did not have access to them. But I was like, I was not like, oh my god, I didn't have access, blah blah blah. It's not the end of the world. So some of them I had access through email, and I just said, if you need to talk or you need to get something off your chest, like you can email me because I think it's going to be down for a couple of days or a couple of hours. I can't remember what happened. And we just exchanged all our emails and we're like, if you really need to talk and you don't have access to Facebook Messenger or something else, just message us, email us, and we're going to get through this day. But the younger generation spent weeks talking about it when it crashed. And it was only a day. Not even a day, I think. Like, I do need internet to talk to you guys. So if ever we have power failure, sadly, like, I can't chat with you guys. I will miss this little social event. But I'm gonna be able to sleep. At the end of the day, I'll be able to sleep. Uh-oh. Oh no. So sorry. So let's flip this doom and gloom. 24 hours is a blink of an eye. What did we use to do? Board games, yeah, just hang out around outside. In 1998 in Quebec, yeah, I am tired. So we had an ice storm. Similar to the one we had last year, but bigger. So I was out of electricity for, I think, 5 days. Yeah, 5 days, about 4 or 5 days. And the only thing that pissed me off, sorry, said a bad word, was that my audio boombox had my CDs. So I had a mini disc. It's going to tell you my age. So I had a disc player that was rechargeable. So my dad and I would go for car rides to charge his devices, drills, and whatever needed to be charged in the car. And we would go assist people around our town because we had a wood burning stove and we were able to suffice our needs. So we would go volunteer a time during the day to go help out the neighbors that did not have access to water, blah, blah, blah. So I would charge my mini disc player, but I was so aggravated that my CD that I would listen to every single night before going to bed was in my boombox, and I needed electricity to open it. So I had to figure something out for those 5 nights to fall asleep because it was like a routine for me. And looking back, everyone says it was one of the worst experiences of their lifetime. I, on the other hand, thought it was the coolest thing. My school was a shelter for the people that did not have electricity, so therefore I did not have school. But if the city did not need a shelter, my school had a generator, so there would still be school. The only reason why they decided to take my school is because we had functioning showers, and because of the generators, the school had hot water. So I did not have school, so I was helping elderly people to evacuate their homes. I was helping out people that had water damage to try to fix as much as we could. The city was handing out wood So I would haul wood with my dad in any pickup truck we could find, and we would go deliver wood to people that had decorative stove or wood burning stove but did not have access to wood. And then we would come back home just before the sun goes down, and my mom and I would chop vegetables like for an hour and prepare soups for the neighbors. So my mom went to the grocery store. We got broth, tomato juice, pasta, and we would use the wood burning stove to make large amounts of soups. And we would hand out the soups to the neighbors because they couldn't eat warm food. And then it would start all over again. The next day, my dad would get a call from the city and he would say, okay, so we need volunteers to this place. So we'd go there, and that I had like work for like 5 days, and it felt amazing. The connection that happened between neighbors, the city, the elderly, the young, and everything. It was amazing. When the power goes down, you learn real quick what to do and don't need to survive. Sorry. Qu'est-ce qu'il y a? Hold on, I have a little situation. So sorry about that. I had like many people going down the stairs. The dog was barking and all of that. When the power goes down, you learn real quick what you do and don't need to survive. We as humans think we need more than we truly actually do. We can get, yeah, technically, the first thing I would do if I was alone is find a companion. And then the second thing I would do is make sure I have water. Third thing I would do is to make sure that I have enough food. And the fourth thing I would do is find a way to cook the food and maintain heat. And then I would make an inventory of everything I have around the house: batteries, radio, flashlight, candles. Peux-tu mettre Luna dehors, s'il te plaît? Merci. And then, like, go from there. C'est correct? Okay. I'm sorry, folks. Tu l'as attaché? Okay. The topic away. Where did it go? Where's the comment? I'm sorry, folks, for pulling the topic away from gardening, but this is also, yeah, it does tie in. It does at some point. Lost power in 2016 for a whole week in October. It was early snowstorm, the coldest I've ever been. No radio, no cell phone. Didn't know anything that was going on. That's why I prepared. Yes, so I am somewhat prepared. Hello, Tammy. So if my husband's home, I have access to a generator, and with the two of our brains, we can figure it out. On my own with the kids, I think I would need like a moment, like to sit down and wrap my head around, because you're in survival mode, but you have 3 kids. So that's why, like, the first thing I would do is find a adult companion that I can trust and make a plan so that one of us can be in survival mode exclusively and the other one can be like plan B if plan A doesn't work, and then be the mom or be the parent. La porte, s'il te plaît. I'll be right back. There's an issue again. Sorry. Okay. Hi, Tammy again. You need a redneck friend in your friends. Yeah, definitely. I do find myself slightly redneck because we've done a lot of stuff when you started here on the homestead that way. But one of the responsibilities Fred had when he was young was a firefighter, and he was the one taking care of the people that were rescued from fires. So his job was to establish what the victims needed and relocate them. And oui, bonne nuit. Sorry. So he knows what to do, and he's the one that's able to focus because that was like part of his job. He was very good at it, and he did that for like a long while. And if there's one thing I've learned from watching him in situations where he needs to remain calm, it just comes back super fast. So we had a situation last year that we lost power and he was not home. So I called him and I said, okay, so I have this situation. It's raining. What do I need to do? So he just like sat down. He's like, okay, so just check this, check that. The generator's in the backyard. I'm going to be home in about an hour and a half. Just make sure that the water downstairs does not reach this level. So thankfully, I still had access to my cell phone. I was able to reach him. And we kind of made a plan on the phone. And then he came back home. We established and assessed all the damages around the property. And thankfully, we only lost electricity for like, I think it was like a total of like 10 hours. But our neighbors lost power for 4 days. The only reason why we were blessed to have it almost the same days because we are connected to the water supply lane. So everyone needed water. So since that's the case, we were the first one to be reconnected. But I was so happy that he had the generator and he was able to like, okay, so this is what we need to do. This is what we need to do. Like, and then I just followed what he was saying. And now, because we've lived through a couple of situations like that where we lost power and there's like stuff we need to do, I'm kind of getting used to it. So if ever it does happen to me again, yes, I don't have access to his truck that has the generator, but now we're going to do the maintenance of the generator and I'm going to ask him how it works so that I don't have to bug him to find out. So it is definitely a learning curve. I know that I will not lack food. That is for sure. And there is one thing that I'm bugging Fred to do this summer, and it is an outdoor cooking station with wood so that I can do breads there, pizzas there, and like a grill that I can, if I don't have access to a pizza oven or dough oven, I can use my Dutch oven to cook breads in it because you can live off bread and water for a while. Obviously, you're not going to have all the energy of the world, but you can survive on bread and water for a while. And I have so many preserved pickled vegetables that we can eat. And we would have to can most of my meat. And I have a gas stove, so I would be able to do that. I just can't use the oven. I'm not sure yet. It all depends of how much it costs to build. So I'm trying to upcycle old bricks so that we can do like a stand up. So I'm trying to visualize. So a counter high that has a wood part to stash the wood, and then a dough oven on the left, and on the right have like this cook area where it's a hole that you can put a grill or remove the grill and put a wok. And then a little area where I can prepare everything. But that's like my unicorn dream. It might not happen. Bread, water, oil, and herbs, more than enough. Yeah, more than enough. And I have like yeast that's frozen. I have 20-pound bags of flour. So we would be able to survive on that. And I have so much hamburger meat. I could do it's called croton in French. So it's basically boiled hamburger meat that you mix with broth, herbs, salt, pepper, and bacon. And it does like this spreadable meat pate. So I could thaw out so much meat and just make croton. And we would eat croton for breakfast, croton for dinner, like, and have meat like that. And then the chicken breast, we could eat it. But I do have a lot of vegetable broth, pork broth, beef broth that's canned. So we would have nutrients to survive a little while. We would just have to figure out how to keep the fridge and freezers functioning. That is like out of my top 10 worries. When my power goes out, I know that I have a 48-hour window for my small freezer. And I have a 72-hour with my other chest freezer. So I know that I can condense into my 72-hour and then can everything that needs to be canned and work the stress. But like, I know that I have 3 days in front of me. Worst case scenario, if it's freezing outside and it's like for the next week, there's no over zero, I just put everything in boxes and put it outside. So like, I have like some sort of like knowledge from that experience in 1998. We had a couple of events since 98, and then last year in 23 was like a reminder of that storm. But I find that this is not taught enough in schools or just in general. Like, what do you do in an emergency? So they practice fire emergency at school. We do the same at home if ever there is a house. We teach our kids that to come to us, go outside as soon as possible. And but for situations like that, they don't teach us anything because I guess they're optimists that it will never happen. But if we look at the patterns, we're starting to have storms often and power outage often as well. 24 to 84, 48 hours for the fridge, 3 days, small chest freezer. Yeah. My chest freezers are old, so they say 5 days, but it's like an older model, so I'm more of like reserve. I go 72 hours and like I slightly open it, put my hand in it, and like verify how cold it is. But my fridge is 2 days tops. Two of my fridge, they're old as well. One of my fridge is like 10 years old, and the other one is, I bought it in 2000. It's been 6 years that we're here, so it's probably 10 years old as well. And when I lost power the first time, last year, at the end of the first 24 hours, there was stuff that I had to throw out. Obviously, I had kids opening and closing the door, not understanding the concept, so that did not help. So when we say 24 to 48 hours, it means you're not opening it like at all. It needs to stay closed. But obviously, you need to feed yourself during that day. So that's why It's usually less than a day for us, at least the main fridge. The second fridge, what I do is I put like an X on it and I put everything that's important in there. And I utilize also outside. I have some, I put boxes outside with like the condiments, the ketchup, and anything that could freeze, milk, cheese. I just put it outside. If I know that my fridge is out and I'm going to lose food, I'm just going to try to save it outside. If you know about a coming storm and might have power outage 4 days before, fill water. Yeah. We have 18 gallons bottles. We always normally have around one minimum. And there's like, I always try to keep one full. But I will not lack water here because we're connected a little differently. So we're connected from a stream. So unless we have no more water, I'm always going to have water. It's only like the debit of the water that could go up and down. When I was on the island of Montreal, water was a bit different. So when we had no power, my dad would always buy a bottle of waters and store it downstairs. But we don't need to do that here because I will always have access to water because I'm on the street that is connected to the water filtration pump. So I know that the water that comes out will always be filtrated because I'm on that street. But if I was out in the boons, I would always have minimum 4 days of water for our consumption. Because like you need water to do bread. You need water for pasta. You need water for rice. You need water for soup if you want to do bone broth. So water is very precious. Yeah. So we all doom and gloom tonight. So on Tuesday it was coffee, sunshine, and tonight's doom and gloom. Well, there's weeks like that. I just realized that we're at the end of April. Don't you have those moments? Oh my God, we're at the end of April. It feels like yesterday was like end of January. And the to-do list keeps coming and coming. My to-do list is like so long. No worries. I feel like these subjects can inspire people to actually go do their search. Like where I am in the world, what do I need? How many people I need to feed? What are my situations? And if it could just pique the curiosity of someone, well, we've done our job. That's the way I see it. I do not think it's a rabbit hole. I think it's good to be prepared slightly mentally. You can be prepared physically, but nothing prepares you physically to a storm. Nothing. Like when you go outside and there is a tree that's fallen on your house. Regardless of how prepared you are, physically, mentally, like you have a tree on your house or on your car or on your wires, on your electricity wires, like there's nothing that prepares you for that stress, that survival mode. But it's not like that stress you have, it's what's keeping you alive during the event. But after the event is done and like you're back to normal, that's when like you go from survival mode to normal mode. And then your body goes, okay, I'm done, crash. So nothing prepares you for that. Nothing prepares you for the amount of stress your body and tiredness your body's going to feel. Have to go. My daughter's leaving work and we talk on her way home. No worries. I'm actually going to go. I think I'm going to go and listen to Remy's comment that he's going to do an early night. So before I let you go, I am working on a different. My eyes are so icky tonight. So sorry. So I'm working on different content for this week. So I was thinking about a grow room tour. So touring the good, the bad, and ugly of what's going on. And I'm starting to see things pop up outside, like a little garden tour of the weeds and the perennials that are popping back up. The good, the bad, and ugly of a spring coming back, because there is like beautiful stuff, but like spring, I find it kind of gets ugly, and then it turns pretty after like you spend hours cleaning everything out. But either that, or since Friday's video inspired a lot of you, like I said earlier on, I haven't had this much attraction to a video I have posted in a long time, and it's about self-care and things that I'm doing differently. So I'm going to explore different possibilities tomorrow and make a game plan. So I'm going to leave you with that, and like, you're going to see on Friday what gets published. But I might also do like a Tuesday morning live, a short one, because this week I have a lot of appointments. And tomorrow I'm spending the day with my son, Philip. So I won't have that much time, but if I can, I'm going to pop up like I did last week. So until the next one, take care. Bye-bye. Have a blessed week.